Welcome to another edition of the Mark Ballard Show. I have a return guest, Mr. Jermichael Mitchell. This brother's running for mayor of Salisbury. That's real epic, man. Being a young man that you are. How old are you, sir?
I'm 39.
39 years old. That's dope. Brother, can you elaborate on what your mission is to be mayor and all that stuff?
Yeah, for sure. So first off, as he said, my name is Jermichael Mitchell. I'm running for mayor of Salisbury. Me running for the mayor of Salisbury, our campaign slogan is true inclusion, leaving no one. And what we mean by that is being transparent, letting people truly know what's going on in our city, truly know what's going on in our finances, and truly what's going on with our budget and plans for the city of Salisbury. And leaving no one means not forgetting about our neighborhoods. A lot of times things downtown happen and it's beautiful for downtown, but when you go back to our neighborhoods, our roads are still run down, our houses are still run down.
Absolutely.
We have slumlords. We have different things going on in our neighborhoods that also need to be addressed, along with those infrastructure needs downtown as it continues to grow. So
absolutely,
that's the main thing. We have 6 champions that we're running on. Kevin Lindsay is my campaign manager. So we're just being very strategic in planning and moving forward. We have some forums coming up and things of that nature. So we're just out here, man, spreading the message, letting people understand, and our other main thing is just educating and empowering.
That's it. Okay, this is a sort of like a controversy here in this community about the bike lanes.
Right, yeah, for sure.
How do you feel about that? What do you think they should do about that?
The bike lanes, man. So the bike lanes was a $12 million project. A lot of money put in by the county and the city. It was a combination project and getting some state funding for bike lanes. Bike lanes are what they consider an open space. And what they mean by open space is it's an athletic opportunity for free for anyone who utilizes them in the right way. Right? So they're not saying no one is excluded from using the bike lanes. But it was a project that was put together by the county and the city. It's one of those projects that right now is sustainable. It's not too much that can be done about it. There's certain danger and hazards that they've had to look at and make adjustments to in different places. But the biggest piece is we have to show up when these type of things are starting to be talked about, which means if you don't know, you need to talk to your city council representatives. You need to talk to your county council representatives. Right. They're not giving you enough information about what's going on. You also need to pay attention to your newspapers and start getting the agenda for the city council and county council meetings. You don't have to always go, but get the agenda so you can see what's on the docket, so you know what's going on in your community.
Absolutely.
But the bike lanes are a big issue for everybody. The Republican, Democrat, doesn't matter what you are, who you are, gender, response, age. No one really likes them because we feel they're underutilized. I would say that we should start utilizing them. Often people start groups or start organizations or start things. A nice bike ride is a great thing. Definitely helps with your mental health. So I say instead of complaining, we start utilizing the bike lanes. Get more groups together, have bike rides, go places, communicate, talk to each other while you're doing these things, and try our best to utilize what is here for us to take advantage of.
$12 million, y'all.
Yeah, for sure.
You know what I mean? That's a lot of money.
It's definitely a lot of money.
Like, ain't no need to bicker and argue about it. I mean, utilize it.
Yeah,
That's how I feel about it too. Yeah, utilize it. $12 million. Come on now.
Yeah, that's a lot of money, man. And again, I ain't saying whether we should have used the $12 million for that thing. I can think of several other things that money could have been put to use for. But when people are coming forth, when people are bringing opportunity, when people are grabbing grants, this is the time that we have to stand up and we have to be vocal. So it's very vital that we start showing up.
Absolutely.
That's one of the main reasons why we're running as well, man. Just educating people on the process of showing up, being heard.
It's very important to vote.
For sure.
That's the main thing. We got to get the votes out, and everybody got to attend. Ain't no need to complain about these certain situations that's going on in your community, and you're not going out to vote for it about these things. Let's say let's have traffic issues, including the parking.
Yeah. So they've taken parking from downtown. Again, some of it's been done illegally. The city right now is facing some issues from business owners who are complaining about, I guess it's like the Public Access Act, where they felt like they weren't as informed that some of the parking was going to be taken. But the city has had, for those who don't know, the city of Salisbury has has a growth plan. It's a plan for the city of Salisbury, how they want to expand, things that they want to do. As you can see, the new buildings downtown and things of that nature. I encourage people to research that and actively visually see what the plan is for Salisbury so that you know what's going on, so that you can show up and let them know if this is something for the people. Because if it's not, you have to make the adjustments, right? No matter what the action plan was put in place a few years back, if the people don't want that, as an administration, we should have to change it. We have to make adjustments. But again, that's why we have to show up. But the parking piece again, I don't know what they're gonna do. I know some of the things that we would do is we would try to enlarge the parking structure that is already there. We would try to expand some of the lots that may be downtown. We would relook at some things. I know they're supposed to build a hotel in one of those parking lots. I don't know. I don't know if that's a done deal. Where the farmers market was at. That's why you no longer see those people. Yeah, no, that's why you no longer see the farmers market there on Saturdays and Sundays.
Wow.
Because they're supposed to build a hotel in that parking lot. But again, when you do those type things and you make those decisions and people don't show up to be against it, right? Now you remove all of those people who monthly, that income mattered to their families. That income mattered to feeding their families. So now we don't have that parking lot to utilize. Because again, we have to show up. We have to make sure that our voices are heard.
Community, get involved.
Right.
Get into it and get involved, because that's the only way you be able to see a change. You can't continue to bicker and talk about this and that, and nobody's not doing nothing about it. Especially you got to vote for it. You got to vote, and that's the only way things can even out. How do you feel about the tax differential here in the community?
So the taxes have been a big thing since our former mayor, who is now our Housing and Community Development Secretary under Wes Moore. He's moved on, he's advanced. And I want to say one of the claims to fame during that time period with that administration for about 8 years was they didn't raise taxes on the citizens of Salisbury, which at the time, thinking about it, you're like, yeah, that's a good thing. You know, we're not raising taxes. But I believe now we're facing the trickle-down effect, right? It's about 9-10 years later, and now they were about to raise taxes high, between 10 to 15% on people, which is a lot of money when you think about how much of the value of your home may be.
Absolutely.
So again, people have to be informed. People have to understand what's going on. It's great to hear we're not going to raise taxes on you, but taxes should be raised a little bit, right? That's for the budget. That's for the things that need to happen in the future. And then you don't run into these type of situations. If you increase taxes just a little bit each year and find ways to offset costs from other things as well, then you don't have to hit people at one time hard with the tax, right? Again, 10 to 15% tax hike at once. Good thing the city didn't go through with that. Good thing people voiced their opinion. Good thing votes were had and people chose not to go forward with that hike. But again, that just comes from those years of people being happy about taxes not being raised. That no city can rely on not having taxes from the citizens.
That's serious, y'all. We got to get involved. That's the only way we
That's
be
the
able to
key
see
thing.
changes.
If anything out of nothing that people don't get today, it's just the involvement of more people have to get involved.
How do you feel about affordable housing?
Housing is on the rise across the state, across the country. One of the biggest issues with the Eastern Shore is the type of money we bring in with our jobs. For the housing hike, the rent hike, and the things that have gone up after COVID, what landlords are doing is they're using the same brackets as the counties across the bridge, right? Not keeping in mind that those jobs over there pay more, right? So of course the cost of living over there can go up, and then the trickle-down effect is the cost of living over here can go up because it's across the board, right, for the state. One of the biggest issues that as a city representative, and that's what people that have to really and truly understand is city representation and what city officials can and can't do. Again, get involved, know what's going on. City officials can truly do nothing about the housing crisis. We can point people in the right direction to start owning homes. We can point people to resources that will teach them how to budget their money and get their finances straight to do those things. So the goal for me, when we win, is if we're in there, we will work with those organizations that are in our community that have great resources and information to teach people how to buy homes, to teach people to stop renting, right? Because rent is high, mortgage is a little bit less, right? If you're owning that home or your plan is to own that home. But that's a county thing. That's a state thing. That's a thing where we have to talk to our county executive, we have to talk to our county council and get them to figure out how we can take it further to cap off these landlords, especially with the income base that's coming in, right? So that's the biggest piece. I would plan on working with our county exec, working with our county council and the city council, coming up with a plan to take it across the bridge so that we could employ and encourage those people to start putting a cap on landlords, especially in economical places that truly can't afford the rent hike.
That's fine. Boy, you good, man. You good. Okay, they want to know about the bike lanes again and the parking.
So I mean, again, just to reiterate, because again, that's on a lot of people's hearts. The bike lanes really aren't going anywhere. I wish there was something majorly that we can do, but the amount of money that has been put into the project, that's sustainable. They wouldn't have spent that amount of money if they felt like that wasn't something that was needed. But I just say encourage. We have to use them. We have to go take a family day and just go ride, get bikes, go ride.
Do family stuff.
We need an organization that rents bikes, right? There's all these old bikes around. There used to be one downtown.
There used to be.
But empower organizations, that's where the empowerment piece comes into play, right? Besides just the education, the empowerment is let's someone start an organization that deals with bikes and helmets and teaches bike safety. And let's start utilizing the bike lanes. Let's start having once a month where a group of people just ride, right? You have these free rides. You have these organized rides. You have someone who organizes this. It would be life-changing. You don't know the friends that you may meet just by riding a bike. So, again, with those bike lanes, just utilize them. Find ways, start it's an opportunity more than anything. As much as we want to complain about it, I feel like it's a great opportunity. Someone can start something and start utilizing those bike lanes.
How do you feel about the infrastructure here?
So economically, man, because that's what it's all about, right? Let's be real, right? Things are about money. Things are about building and bringing people and having jobs in this area to keep people here for the money. Like that's just facts of what it turns into when you get on this side of things. Money makes our city run. Jobs make our city run. So the infrastructure to me has been focused based on, and this has been the game plan for years. And if they feel if you build downtown up, you bring more jobs, you bring more businesses, you bring more people to the area. And as you can see, we're building apartment complexes and buildings to house students. Right? We are kind of sort of, if you look at how SU has grown on the south side of Salisbury, we're kind of turning into an urban college city almost, right? Like if you look at it, and again, big ups to Salisbury University with all of the winning that they're doing with their sports programs and national championships and things that they've done and how they're growing that beautiful campus. They're doing a wonderful job to prepare for something like that. But I would say that we have to do a better job of focusing on our communities. There has been a great effort with the Troy Street Community Center and a great effort with the Newton Street Community Center. We just feel like they're underutilized. When I worked for the city for 2 years, and the 1 year that we were able to utilize them before it was taken from us, we had tremendous numbers in Troy Street Community Center, astronomical numbers compared to the numbers that they have now. And we get it, they have a focus and they have a plan, but those buildings and those things in our community have to be based. Instead of a substation, have a resource station, right? Have somewhere where people can go and they can get jobs and they don't feel like people are being watched or you got to snitch or you got to tell something. No, we're here to help. Right? Community policing. So if you're going to have something of a resource, have a resource center, laptops, jobs, have pilot programs from Warwick, right? Have things that I don't have to leave my neighborhood to be educated. I don't have to leave my neighborhood to grow, right? I don't have the transportation to get all the way out there by Warwick. I don't have the transportation to get to the one-stop job market. And strategically, look how they're moving everything out of the inner city.
Way to try to keep it.
Do you get what I'm saying? Like I won't get into the conspiracy theory as they call it, but I will say that if you look at gentrification is really happening in our communities, right? On a scale where people who were here, our grandmoms and aunties that owned homes, they no longer own those homes anymore.
It's sad.
The family no longer keeps that. So infrastructure for our city will continue to grow. They'll continue to build downtown. That's part of the revitalization plan. It's in the budget. It's part of the process. But I feel like we got to start spending more money in our communities. We got to start growing our communities as well. And that doesn't mean buildings. Right? Cool. We don't got to put a bunch of buildings in our community for it to be successful. But we got to start building the people. Right? Empowering the people and partnering with the things that are already in our community and empowering those things in our community.
Absolutely. Is there any shout outs you want to give out?
Oh yeah, man, yeah, man. I would say big ups to everybody that's always believed, man, like far-fetched, believe it or not, we've been planning this for a long time. This is something that we've talked about, we've been strategic about, we've always wanted to do. We just knew we thought the process may be city council first, then running for mayor. But when Jake Day left, man, it just opened that opportunity. But so big ups to everybody that's always been down. You know, I could say several names, but I don't want to miss anyone. But my team, I've never been able to accomplish anything without people supporting me, whether that be my Lions Club or Extraordinary League of Gentlemen or Kids Rock or any of those other organizations that I had, Spectrum Project, any of those different things that we've done over the years, from our photography with New Image, just everything, man. People have always believed in me. People have always supported me. And they've asked for nothing in return. That makes sense, right? Yeah. They've given up time away from their families. They've given up time away from their jobs. They've just given up time and effort to make sure that they support the vision, because they see that it's bigger than me. It's never been about me being rich. It's never been about no flashy cars or no jewels. It's never been about that. It's always been about the people who support me, who truly know my heart, know that it's always about other people.
You can tell who's genuine, who's not genuine, bro.
Yeah, for sure. Energy don't lie, man. I think energy is a thing that babies alone can tell. A baby will cry if a person got bad energy, but with a good person, they cool, they calm.
They be stargazing at you like, something about this dude.
Animals are like that too,
animals
right?
Like that too.
Animals are like that too. They got a sense where if a person's a bad person, they go crazy, they go nuts, but they can stay calm around good people, man. And it's just one of those things where I try to carry myself, my family's name, and all of the honor of my elders is just trying to be a good person, to do good things for other people.
Although the adversities come, boy,
yeah, for sure,
coming at you.
As an African American male, we're gonna face those things anyway in this world.
Absolutely. I like to give a shout out to everybody who's tuning in to Mark Ballard Show. Mad shout outs to Rat Fiend Radio, Rush the Guillotine, Epiphany, peace to y'all. Anything you want to talk about? Let's talk about these kids.
Yeah. We can talk about the kids, for sure.
So I'm saying, you have all these different programs that you got going on, man. Which one that you do you like? I know you like all of them, but which one do you love the most?
My heart's in basketball, man. I've always Kids Rock would be my heart program. Basketball saved my life. I come from a single mother. I come from a poverty neighborhood. I come from seeing murder, crime, drugs in my neighborhood. Basketball saved my life. Being able to play basketball and be away every other weekend or once a month gave me the opportunity to see other things, right? And thank God for those coaches, because it wasn't just basketball. When we got there, it was museums, it was trips, it was malls, it was art, it was other things. So being culturalized, I call it, being able to see things outside of my neighborhood through basketball saved my life. So that's always been a passion of mine. I've been coaching since I was 17. And it's just been a good opportunity to pour in kids. It's been a good opportunity to teach life skills through basketball. So yeah, I would say that. I would say basketball.
I have a question for a person that's from Somerset County.
Cool.
They wanted to know if you can come down there and help with the children down there.
Yeah. So my job, I got it on right now, Manery's Dream Alliance, man. We are in 6 of the 9 counties.
Yeah, I was just telling her that.
And my goal and my game plan is to be in every county. We're in Worcester County right now, and we're working on a grant for Wycomico and Somerset. And to come, man, I think that the biggest piece in ploy with whomever you're speaking with is let's have a sit down and not a meeting. Let's throw a seminar for these kids, right?
It's got to happen.
It's got I say, man, and this is no disrespect to no organization out there, nobody who's organized, and I get that you want to have meetings. I get that you want to know who's who, but I'm a man of action, right? I don't want to keep meeting and eating and meeting and drinking and meeting, and no, the kids is dying. The kids is being destroyed and things are being destructive. Right?
Do you think it's our fault?
When you say our fault, what do you mean? Because
the older peers,
I would
the
say
older
yes.
ones.
We didn't teach these children how to handle social media. We didn't teach these children. We haven't protected them from TikToks, and we haven't protected them from knowing that we know the algorithms in America are different than they are in China.
Absolutely.
We know these things. So as a people, no, we have not protected our children enough from the things that they should not be seeing. Our grandmom told us to go in another room if something crazy came on the TV.
Absolutely.
Your child sits right there with their cell phone in their face and you still allow them to watch it.
Yeah.
Kids are seeing people get their heads blown off in movies.
Yeah.
We never saw these things.
Never.
I don't care who you are interested in or who you choose to have sex with, not my business. But the commercials now, everything's sexualized.
Yeah.
Everything's pushing a narrative on our children, and our children are impressionable.
And they know it's not the. You know what? I'm not gonna get into it.
Yeah. It's because it gets deep.
Yeah.
But I will say, because again, everybody can do what they would like to do with their lives.
Yeah.
Right? We're not knocking nobody.
Don't put it
for
on
that.
nobody's kids.
But again, when you start having conversation with children,
Yeah.
right? When everything seems to be sensual, sexualized, that becomes the issue for me. I don't care who you choose to be with, go home with, marry. That's not my business. But we shouldn't be having those conversations with children.
Not with no kids.
Right? And I say it is our fault because we know better. That's the hardest piece for me.
And everybody be saying that. We gotta do better, but ain't nobody trying to do better.
Yeah, but it's because accountability, bro. Back in the day, your neighbor could scold you. And then you would go home and get scolded. Now your neighbor scolds you, you go home, your mama ready to fight your neighbor, your daddy ready to shoot somebody. You get what I'm saying? These kids aren't held accountable like before. And it's cliche, but I'm gonna say it. The village concept, right? Street light came on, I'm either in front of my home or I'm in my home. Your mama knew where you was at. Half these women and these men don't know where their children at, bro. These kids is 14, 13, 12, getting pregnant. We ain't talk, and then we afraid, and I'ma say it, because ridicule can come from it. We ain't talking about sex in the church. We accepting everything that come with it, but we not having that conversation. We still talk about abstinence. These kids is having sex, bro. Right? We're not teaching them how to use a condom. We're not talking about contraceptives. School ain't giving it to them. Church ain't giving it to them. Home ain't giving it to them. Where they getting it from? TikTok, movies, porn. Go on a kid's site phone. I guarantee you, your Google, they're watching porn. So if they're being sexualized like this and they're not learning true love from their parents, they're not seeing half the young men in our community. We ain't got to talk about America. They're not even seeing their mother's love correctly. You understand what I'm saying? So how can we expect that young man to grow up and value a woman?
Right.
In his entire life, he's never seen a man value his mother.
Anything as far as like trying to, walk with pride and dignity for yourself is nowhere on the plate anymore.
Yeah, it's not. And we don't have no true leaders, man, because of strategic. All our true leaders were murdered. They were assassinated, and that put fear in certain individuals to say, man, I can only go but so far, because if I go too far, they're gonna get rid of me. You get what I'm saying? So we no longer have true leaders. Everybody feels like you got to bend, almost break to fit in. Nobody wants to stand on what our grandparents stood on, and that's hard. That's a hard pill to swallow. And then this is what you get. But the key thing, and I'll say, Mr. Ballard, is this. This generation is a fearless generation. This is the generation that we actually need more than anything, because they don't fear anything.
They don't fear nothing.
You get what I'm saying? So instead of allowing them to continue to kill one another, instead of allowing them to continue to disregard one another's lifestyles and things of that, we should really be teaching unity. This is the generation that if we were going to come out of the fold, if we were going to come out strongly after 400 to 500 years, right, of slavery, and not just slavery of the body, but slavery of the mind. If we were going to, this is the generation to save us. But if we, like you said, we're not pouring into this generation, right? If it still continues to be me, and what I got going on, and these kids is dying, instead of us saying, yo, Mr. Ballard, if we come together, this is how many kids we can save. Right? That's it. People just got to start holding ourselves more accountable for our children.
We got to stand up for our youth.
Yeah. Poverty has no color. Yep. So when I say our children, I'm talking about all people's children.
Absolutely.
Poverty is a real thing.
I'm saying, the Mark Ballard Show, me and Jermichael saying, we got to do better.
Yeah, for sure.
I mean, because we see what's going on in our communities. We got to do better for it. We got to do better.
And we got to start waiting on handouts.
Yep.
Right? Like that was the other thing, man, you know. Somebody rent was due, they had a house party, and everybody went to the house party. Right? That's how you supported it in the community. Something was going on, we chicken barbecue, fish fry. You get what I'm saying? This is what we did as a community. We supported one another. We figured it out so that way we didn't need a handout. And it's no longer like that anymore. We still waiting on a handout or waiting for somebody to give us something or who truly don't care about us. And if they are giving a lot of it, you got to question that. Why they keep giving all of this? What is it about all of this? What it come with? What I got to do afterwards?
It's a price you got to pay to do that too.
Yeah, it's a price to play, man. And at the end of the day, you got to make your decisions with what are you willing to sacrifice, right? Over the years, man, you know, we ain't had no $1 million budgets. We ain't had no $100,000 budgets. We had shoestring budgets. But I've always learned from my elders, especially my grandmother, man, with a little you can make a lot happen. Right? I've watched it. You know, I tell people all the time, if I had to say anything, I would say God is a woman, man, because I've seen women make miracles happen in my life.
Absolutely.
For sure.
Let me get deeper with that too one day. But yeah, man, I really appreciate you coming to the show to let everybody know where you stand at and what your position is in this community, man. Ladies and gentlemen, in Wycomico County, vote.
Yeah, for sure.
Go out and vote. You know what I mean? This brother's a good candidate. He's an honest brother. He's humble. And he's willing to change things around here.
And can I get my pitch?
Yeah.
The power of voting matters more than anything in this world. People died for the right for people to vote. Even if I'm not your candidate, even if I'm not the person that you feel should be in that position, I still encourage you to use your voice and your power to vote. Be registered to vote. Use your power to vote. Even if you're a felon, right? Register and let them tell you that you can't vote. But felons in Maryland can vote. So register, make sure you're informed about all candidates, not just myself, but get to know Miss Megan Outing, get to know Mr. Randy Taylor, get to know these people, know what they're about, so that you know what you're voting for. Because again, if I'm not your candidate, you still should use your vote to vote for someone. And there's also the city, the council seats that are up. Again, representation matters. More Spanish people need to run. More Haitian people need to run. More Korean people need to run. More people need to reflect in our city positions what live in our community. And the only way you get true representation is if people who look like you, no matter what you look like, run and put themselves in positions.
It is a very diverse community.
Correct.
Very diverse.
Yeah.
Once again, I'd like to thank everybody who's tuning in and watching the Mark Ballard Show. Stay tuned for more interviews on the way. Peace and blessings, everybody.
Yeah.